Good morning. It is 7:30 on a Wednesday, and we are live. I am done believing. I'm moving away from simply believing the truth straight towards knowing the truth. And I believe that's possible in a world that says each person has their truth. Oh, this guy is just living his truth. He thinks he is the wrong gender. And he is exploring that. He is exploring and living in his own truth. I'm moving away from simply believing that each one of us has our own truth. And I want to start knowing the truth, not my truth, because my truth might change. I want to know the truth, all for the purpose of overcoming delusion, waking up, coming into contact with the spiritual battle within myself, paying attention and seeing what God wants me to do, to declare victory in my own life first. There's no way in hell that we can change the world as a group. We got to do it as an individual first. You can't change the world and have your own personal life all jacked up. That don't work. Anybody telling you, hey, come join a group, we'll change the world, an idiot. Listen, we got a lot to get to today. We got Robert Smalls. Who the hell is that? I bet you don't even know who Robert Smalls is unless you spend a lot of time looking at memes on social media. What is the hardest thing for men to do? That's the question of the day. And also, because it's Wednesday and I want to put a little bit of wisdom in there. In case you don't get anything from anything I say, don't worry about me and what I'm saying. Hang on till the end of the show. It's only like 15 minutes. I try to keep it at 15 minutes. Hang on to the end because I got a little word of wisdom. It's not my wisdom. It's something I found, and it's great. I think you'll like it. Right to it. Robert Smalls. Here, I got a picture of this guy. I found him on the internet today. Robert Smalls. Let's talk about him. Who the hell is Robert Smalls? But more importantly, and I promise you have not heard of him, we have three. This is a meme I found. We have 3 Pitch Perfect movies. 11 billion Fast and Furious. That's true. 14 remakes of Spider-Man. Is that true? Can we get a fact check on that? Do we actually have 14 Spider-Man movies? And not one, almost going to cuss, got Dan. Not going to cuss on the show. I mean, because GD is an actual cuss word. I use, hell, damn, whatever. But what was I saying? And we don't have one movie of this guy, Robert Smalls. What the hell is up with that? Let's talk about him. He was a man. There he is, picture of him. Born into slavery, 1839. He steals a Confederate military ship in 1861. He disguises himself as the captain. He uses a secret code book and hand signals to pass Confederate guard ships. He rescues more slaves and their families. He escapes to freedom. He works as a military advisor to the Union until the war ends. He buys a house, runs for Congress, he wins, and then he lives happily ever after. There you have it. Happily ever after. Why do we not have a movie of this guy? Why do we not have a movie of him? Messed up, but yet we got plenty of movies of Buzz Lightyear and controversial gay kisses or whatever. What a mess. What an absolute mess. If you're still paying for streaming networks, if you're still paying into that crap, you're part of the problem. I'm canceling my subscriptions. I'm going to go back to the good old days where I just got it there and watch commercials. Whatever. I will gladly watch commercials these days if I can not be inundated with the world's agenda. And it's not just the alphabet people, as some call them, LGBTQ. It's everything. It's the whole Black Stories section. All this segregation. I like movies with black people. Anyways, all right, I'm sorry, man. I'm rambling on that. Back to this Robert Smalls. The myth of white supremacy is coming from the Democrats right now. It's coming from a small group of people who are power hungry and they want to keep the myth that slavery held everybody down, held all the black people down, and it's still holding you back today. That's a myth, that the white people are superior to you. They're not. We are not. But you know what? They're so good at promoting this myth and telling me that a black person can't do anything unless the Democrats get voted into office, and give them government funding, government opportunities. They're doing such a good job at promoting this myth. I'm starting to believe in white supremacy, and it's not even true. And I'm saying that as a joke. I hope you understand my joke when I say that. My God. But there you go. Robert Smalls is proof that an individual makes all the difference, not a collective group. And you go around seeing yourself as a collective group, you're only holding yourself back. That being said, I want to get right into the question of the day. What is the hardest thing for a man to do? And you can comment. If you just happen to be watching live, you can comment and I will read those comments. But the hardest thing for a man to do is, and I've got the answer. Got it right here. Stand alone by keeping his emotions to himself. All the time, men are told, you don't open up enough. You need to learn how to share. You need to communicate better. There ain't no sense in trying to communicate with people, because if they're not listening, it doesn't matter how good a speaker you are, they're not going to hear you. And it makes me think of a little something. I took up running when I hit 40. I decided I'm going to get back into running. I saw my son doing that. My middle son, he's a runner. He competes, runs for the high school, competes in cross country. So he runs long distance. He makes it look so easy, and he's good at it. And he only weighs like 10 pounds. And so he's like super rail thin. He's really good at it. And he makes it look so easy, like I was saying. And I'm like, I'm going to get into that. And I said, Joe, me and you come November, let's do the local 5K in our area. Because they have one around Thanksgiving, a turkey trot. And so I decided, I decided I'm going to get involved in that. And I'm going to win this thing. And you ought to win it, Joe, and because I'm going to beat you, and all this other ego stuff I was throwing out there. So I spent the entire year from January all the way to November. Actually, it was in December I got started. I started walking. Then I started putting running into my exercise routine. Then I started running a mile. Then I turned it into 2 miles, and then 3 miles. And then I just kept building and building and building till finally the day of the race came. Actually, let me back up. Well, I'll just say that. The day of the race came, I won first in my age group. And as soon as I got that medal, which should be hanging up here, by the way, that's like one of the biggest achievements in my life to myself. I don't care if anybody else thinks it's cool. I got first place for my age group. So I was the fastest 40 to 45-year-old in the Conroe area. So proud. You know what I did immediately after? I just quit running. I'm done with this. But the reason I bring that up is because during my time training, I would just be sore some days. I would be tired. I would be wanting to just die. I'm just running like, ugh. So I asked my son, what am I doing wrong, man? I am miserable. And he said, the trick to running. Here it is. So if you're into running, you might already know the trick. Dad, the trick to running is you're just going to be miserable. And you just have to come to grips with the fact that it's going to suck. And your life is going to suck for the 15, 20, 30 minutes that you're actually running. But it ends. It comes to an end. I was like, so there you go. That's the trick. So when I got out there and ran my race, life was just sucking for like 15 minutes. I think I did the 5K and right at 15, could have been 16, 18 minutes. I don't remember. It wasn't 15 minutes. I can promise you that. I was probably trying to slip a little embellishment in there. But what does that have to do with the most difficult thing for men to do? What is the hardest thing for a man to do? Stand alone and keep his emotions to himself. The reason I bring up the running is the trick to keeping your emotions to yourself is just recognize that it's going to be painful. It's going to suck. It's just going to hurt sometimes. You're going to want to buy into the illusion that you can cast your cares and pains and burdens onto another person. You can't. And especially if you're a man, because men, and this is for men, this is not some macho thing. Oh, be macho and don't tell your problems or nothing. But seriously, men are supposed to be the leaders on this planet. That's the way God designed it. They're not supposed to be the overlords. They're not supposed to be the controllers. They're not supposed to be anything other than the guiding example of how God operates. We're made in the image of God. And Eve was made from man. But my point being, men have a job to do, and for the most part, it's not getting done. And that's why the world is in the shape that it's in, because the men aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And what are they supposed to do? Stop putting all your cares and worries onto other people. Stop talking to other people about your emotional problems. Emotions, yeah, you have them, but you're not supposed to live by them. You experience them, and you go through them. You don't suffer from them. That's wrong. You got to learn how to stand alone and keep your emotions to yourself. As an example, look at what happened to Samson. And, let me back up. And I say all the time, even to my wife, and I say this right now to you men out there, don't tell your wives anything. Don't tell anybody anything. You tell even your best friend an idea that you have for something. What are they going to do? They're going to put their advice, their 2 cents into your life. You're opening yourself up to all this advice and negative vibes. You might need to work through something. You might have an idea about a business, and then you open it up to a friend, and your friend is so cautious. They give you all this crappy advice, and it discourages you. Keep it to yourself. And especially if you're married, don't tell your wife anything. All you're going to do is overwhelm her. Instead, show her. Be the example. Like, I don't tell my wife, hey, honey, I'm going to start praying. I need to pray more. So starting now, in the morning, I'm going to go out to my hammock. I'm going to pray. And in the night, I'm also going to do that. So don't be bothering me. Those are my prayer times. I didn't tell her. I just started doing it. And she noticed. I didn't tell her, hey, honey, I need to calm down when I'm driving more. I'm tired of getting mad and letting people control me on the road. I didn't tell her, because then she would have put it in my face. The moment I raised my middle finger out the window to somebody who cut me off, she'd be like, I thought you were going to stop doing that. So don't tell your wife anything. Just do it and show her that she can trust you. And you do that enough, she's going to start to trust you. I know, because I've done it. And I do it. I don't tell Carrie anything anymore. I just do it. And she's like, okay, all right, trust this guy. And here's the flip side. If I start doing something and I fail miserably, I just accept the consequences of that too. She's like, your idea was horrible. Yep, it was. And now we both know for a fact that's not how you do fill in the blank. Look no further than Samson. Samson, he had a burden to carry. The secret of his strength and the purpose of his strength. And he had that woman of his just constantly, where's your power come from? If you love me, you'll tell me. You must not love me because you don't trust me enough to confide in me. Don't fall for it, guys. It's a trap. It is a trap. And look what happened to Samson. He's like, all right, okay, baby. I tell you what, it's my hair care products. And what'd she do? She took his hair care products and swapped it out for some generic brand from Walmart. And his hair fell out. And it was bad news. And you know the rest of the story. If you don't know the rest of the story, his life pretty much sucks. His life turns to crap because he confided something that God gave him to carry on his shoulders. He tried to pass it off to somebody else, in this case a woman, in the hopes that she would help him carry that burden. He got screwed. The hardest thing for a man to do is stand alone and keep his emotions to himself. I didn't say keep everything to himself, just his emotions though. Deal with them. I come in now if I had a rough day at work and Carrie's like, how was work? It was great. It was fine. If I have a problem with my work van and she's like, how was work? It was fine. I don't tell her. any of that stuff because she's got stuff that she's thinking about. I can't have her worried about our kids, worried about the things that she's got to do, thinking about her job, and also worrying about me. She's not my mom. She's not my mama. And I don't need, and once you become, I put it like this, once you become a grown man, you don't need a woman worried about you. You don't need your mama anymore. You got to grow up and be a man. In contrast to Samson, we have Jesus. Jesus, who the couple of times when his friends were like, what's going on? What's the plan? What are you doing? What's the purpose? I don't understand what we're doing here. Here's Jesus. Well, I'll tell you the purpose. The purpose is I'm going to be betrayed and killed. And what was the reaction of his friends? We don't want that to happen. And what did Jesus do? Shut up. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Get behind me, Satan. And so as a result, he didn't go into a lot of detail. He just spoke vaguely of some of those things because he knew these people can't handle it. Plus, it's my cross to bear. It's not y'all's burden. What a loving thing that Jesus did is he didn't go around confiding in others to help him through his difficult time. As a matter of fact, the night before he got betrayed and he goes to the garden to pray, and he's over there, and according to some parts in the Bible, he is so anxious, stressed, worried. I don't know what the word is, but he's underneath such the crushing weight of the burden that he's sweating blood. Little droplets of blood are coming like, you've seen that part. It's bad. Hang on, I got some stupid pop-up on my computer. Yeah, sweating droplets of blood. And what does he do? Does he run to his disciples? Oh, you guys got to help me. I just got to talk about it. I want to talk through this. No. He leaves his disciples someplace else. He goes by himself and he gets alone with God. And that is how you do it. Keep your plans to yourself. Take one step at a time. Learn to be alone with your thoughts. That's how you become more like Jesus and less like Samson. And what does that look like? It looks like every morning, go learn to be alone with God. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Be alone with your thoughts and observe them. Because they're not your thoughts. Every night, go and be alone. This is what I do every morning before I get up. Every morning before my day starts, I'm alone with God. Every night before I go to bed, I'm alone with God. Observing my thoughts, reflecting on them. Not judging them. Not trying to get them out of my head. Oh, I rebuke that thought. Just observing the thought. And my life has changed. There was a time I only did it in the morning and I suffered because of it. So I went back to doing it 2 times. 2 times a day. Every single day because it's that important to me. I'm going to end it on that. The last thing, a little bit of Wednesday wisdom. In case you didn't like anything I had to say, I will bring something very insightful. Here it is. I saw this online. Borrowing trouble from the future doesn't deplete the supply. There you have it. Enjoy that. Let's show that again. Borrowing trouble from the future doesn't deplete the supply. It doesn't make any sense to be worried about the future because it doesn't exist. It's not there. It's only in your head. This is why we got to go and be alone with our thoughts. We got a comment real quick. Gwen Reed, good morning, by the way. I feel like I'm eavesdropping. Yeah, that's right, Gwen. Not supposed to be telling women anything or whatever. I think that's what you meant by that. You're not eavesdropping because women can, if a woman has a good example from the husband is not constantly so weak that she has to worry about him. She's going to follow that example because that's just the way it works. She's going to follow that example. She's going to emulate that. And she's also going to be in the image of God. And she's not going, if she has little kids, she's not going to be trying to confide in her children. How many times we see this happen? A mom or an ex-wife or whatever, single mom especially. And I'm not picking on single moms. I'm just saying it happens. Single moms will confide their problems with the ex-husband, with the children. Oh, your dad is like this, or your dad's always doing that. What is she doing? She's got emotional weight that she's supposed to be carrying. And instead, she's confiding that into children. She's trying to get the kids to carry that. And it puts stress on the kids. This is a textbook story of young people who are children of divorce, who the oldest sibling has to take on the role of a parent and help raise the younger siblings. It's so messed up. It's so common. It's so common. And I understand the logic behind it. It's a very logical move. But it's so destructive. It's so destructive. Look what happened to Samson. He tried to confide something onto somebody who wasn't fit to bear that burden. And it crushed everybody. Hey, at the end of the story, he ends up pushing pillars down and crushes everybody. A little bit of foreshadowing there in the Bible. Who said the Bible wasn't a brilliant work of literature? Think about that. Anyways, thanks for the comment, Gwen. And we will see you guys at another time, 7:30 a.m. Monday through Friday.